Palmyra girls basketball is putting in the work this summer to prepare for the upcoming season. As the Lady Panthers look to combat the loss of 6 seniors from last year, they're turning to a dynamic duo to step up their play on the court.
Point guard Claire Williams is one of 2 rising seniors for Palmyra, along with small forward Cindy Compton. The duo is preparing to lead a Lady Panthers squad that lost an impactful senior class last year.
Definitely going to be a leader for all these little young ones, and definitely going to have 3 other spots that the younger ones are going to have to fill for us.
Despite the challenge of losing those seniors, Compton is confident her and Williams will be successful in their bigger roles on and off the court.
We did lose 6 seniors, like really good seniors, and they're all really good leaders and all that. But I trust that me and Claire, the other senior, we've always been pretty good leaders ourselves, stepping up as freshmen, having to play a big role on the basketball court. And I think that just with all of that and our experience, we'll be okay with leadership.
Palmyra has already taken to the court several times this summer, competing in local shootouts, and Coach Kelsey Storr is pleased with what she's seen from Williams and Compton so far.
And they have already taken over that. Like, I don't have to worry about a whole lot, but they have really stepped up to the plate, and they want to get that job done, make sure that everyone is together as one unit.
As they look forward to the coming season, Williams knows what her team needs from the younger players in order to have success.
Definitely shooters. We need some posts, and just someone who wants to be aggressive and wants to have the physicality to win.
Well, the season is months away, but the work starts now for the hungry Lady Panthers. Hannah Barton, WGEM Sports, Palmyra, Missouri.